Story time. Yeah, what's my story today? Don't trust anybody 100%. Don't trust anyone 100%. Yeah, there was this story about this lady who continued to switch personalities. He continued to switch personalities. During the day, sometimes she got a job at a bar, and she's quite friendly, very friendly. Anywhere she goes to, people notice her. She's the outspoken type, and all that. But unknown to unknown to everyone around her, she's a murderer. She's a murderer, and she has been a serial killer. So she's on disguise, and she was just living a life of a hideout. She had been caught somewhere, so somehow she managed to disguise herself to start another life elsewhere. So what did she do? She got a job at a club, which she goes only in the evenings to work in the night. And that was only 3 times in a week. So she worked at the club. Then she also had a bar. She also worked twice at the bar. And she made a lot of friends. So you can imagine, she made a lot of friends, all the socialites, all the celebrities at the clubs. And then also at the bar also, at the cuisine. She also worked there. And each of them, she was under different bosses, and she worked with different colleagues. So she had quite a number of people. And then she hired a house. She had a studio apartment where she lived alone. She lived alone. And people also noticed that someone used to visit her. And the person was a man, that limped. A man that limped. And sometimes, the man would just come, would limp, and go in. So, and that was the only friend people thought that she had. So, but like I told you, this woman is a killer. She's a murderer. And one of her game plans is to switch personalities, So when she kills in cold blood murder, she'll switch her personality. And honestly, if the case is a high profile case, everyone will be confused. She will probably be on the list of the investigators. She will be there. They'll be monitoring her, but they'll never be able to decode her because she has a lot of disguises, in her bag, which she switches personalities. So she can become a man or a woman at will at any time. So this went on, and she had her clients. Of course, her client give her jobs, So when they call her to give her jobs, so most of her clients too don't know her in person. They just don't know her. But they give her the job anyway, and they get money transferred to her account. And she continued like that. She bought a house somewhere else. Probably she was planning for a big future life. But the investigators were monitoring her. She was under surveillance. She didn't know. Never trust anyone. Never trust anyone. So when she leaves the club, sometimes the murder she commits, when she leaves the club, sometimes she will quickly go commit the murder as a woman and come out as a man. Her handbag is filled with disguises. So she could switch to the face of a man. She could flatten her chest and walk like a man. And so when she comes out, you're expecting a woman that went in, but a man comes out. And she's gone. Off she goes. And anywhere she goes after doing it, you will never trace she was the one. So she was able to beat the enforcement agents, the police, and all that. Until one day, one of the investigators have been monitoring her. Now decided to take a house very close to her house and monitor her activities, because She was the last person on the list of a high-profile murder that was committed sometime. And after the murder, they investigated all the people who could have committed the offense, and it was only left her, and they were looking for a man. So one day, the investigator saw her switch disguise to a man. So, well, maybe probably this is the culprit I've been waiting for. And so the investigator began to follow her, got an apartment very close to her, and started monitoring her activities. Sometimes go to her house unannounced. In Africa, people are brother's keeper. So the investigator could just go as if he's doing a normal routine check and checking on people to exchange pleasantries. But actually he was monitoring her, And whenever he's coming to the house, he will make sure whenever a man is going to visit her at home, the man is disguising into is coming to her house, he would have alerted the people in the house that I'm receiving a male visitor. But she is the male visitor. And he's going to enter the house as a man and go in and put off her disguise. So she was the mother of all these guys. Until this day, she was tracked. But before she was tracked, what am I trying to say? There was a murder she committed. A lot of people were implicated. Why were they implicated? Because they made statements that she was not the one. And so the statements implicated them. And they were locked up, pending further investigations. Meanwhile, the culprit is out because she's actually connected with some people at the top, and so somehow she'll find her way out. And people who vouched for her will be behind the bars. And so this investigator tracked her and found out she was the very person. Got her arrested. People were shocked. And so what am I saying? Never trust anyone. I remember years back, I also vouched for somebody while we were in the boarding house. The person went to steal in the hostel, and had an alibi. Came to the class and made noise, And so we also went somewhere and played chess. So when they were doing the investigation, I was one of the people who was key witnesses. But eventually when the game was up, this guy was caught. He said he actually did it. I was really sober. Never trust anyone. Thank you very much.